Have you ever walked away from a conversation feeling like your thoughts were put in a blender? Like you just agreed to something you didn't want or apologized for something that wasn't your fault? That feeling of confusion and exhaustion is the telltale sign of a manipulator. They create chaos to stay in control. But what if things could be different? Imagine becoming a quiet fortress, where a manipulator's games just wash over you and have no effect. This isn't about fighting fire with fire. It's about building a silent inner strength that makes you practically invisible to people who want to control you. It's about guarding your peace so fiercely that nobody can take it from you. If you've ever felt drained, confused, or played, stick around. We're about to uncover the 7 silent habits that will make you truly dangerous to manipulators. The first habit, which is the foundation for everything else, is to get to know yourself on a deep level. Manipulators don't go after strong people. They go after nice people whose weak spots they can use. They are experts at finding your insecurities, your fears, and the desires you haven't looked at too closely. If you're afraid of conflict, they'll create it. If you desperately want approval, they'll give it to you and then snatch it away. But when you truly know yourself, you don't leave them anything to grab. Knowing yourself means getting clear on your core values, your non-negotiables, and your emotional triggers. What makes you feel guilty? What makes you defensive? When you have this internal map, you can instantly spot when a manipulator is trying to use it against you. Their games become totally transparent. Someone who knows their own values can't be tempted by an offer that goes against their integrity. Someone who has looked at their own triggers won't fly off the handle when a manipulator tries to push their buttons. This self-awareness isn't loud. It's a quiet, internal compass. You just watch them try and think to yourself, I see what you're doing, without ever saying a word. You stay grounded in your truth, and for a manipulator who feeds on your reactions, that calm certainty is incredibly unsettling. A manipulator's favorite tool is your own emotion. They want you to be reactive, flustered, and overwhelmed, because when your clarity goes down, their control goes up. Guilt, anger, pity, even excitement are just strings they use to turn you into a puppet. The second silent habit is to practice using rational judgment instead of having a knee-jerk emotional reaction. This is where we can take a page from the Stoic playbook. It's not events that upset us, but our opinions about them. A manipulator's words are just words. Their accusations are just accusations. They only get power when you attach an emotional meaning to them. Practicing rational judgment just means creating a little bit of space between what happens and how you respond. When they throw an insult, you don't have to catch it and feel it. You can just observe it. Ask yourself, is this actually true, or is this just an attempt to make me feel something? By analyzing their words, instead of absorbing the feeling, you starve their tactics of the emotional fuel they need. This isn't about becoming a cold, unfeeling robot. It's about choosing when and where to process your feelings. You can feel them later in private. But in that moment, you remain unreadable. That emotional stillness is a silent shield that makes their attempts to throw you off balance totally useless. Have you ever been in a conversation where you feel pressured to answer right now? That sense of urgency is a tool. It's manufactured by manipulators to rush you past your own good judgment. This brings us to the third and maybe most powerful silent habit, the Stoic pause. When someone makes a demand, asks a loaded question, or throws an accusation your way, your strongest response is often no response at all, just for a few seconds. This isn't the silence of fear or weakness. It's the silence of power. This pause does a few things. First, it completely shatters their momentum. They're expecting an immediate emotional reaction. When you give them nothing, you create a vacuum, and they often get nervous and rush to fill it, usually revealing their true intentions. Second, it gives you back control. Those few seconds are just enough time to shift from your emotional brain to your rational brain. You can gather your thoughts and decide on a response that serves you, not them. And third, it communicates calm strength. Without saying anything, your silence tells them that you are not intimidated, you are not rattled, and you refuse to play their game. That quiet confidence is incredibly disarming. Manipulators are used to fighting with your words. They have no idea how to fight your silence. No is a complete sentence. We've all heard it, but so many of us feel like our no isn't valid unless we back it up with a whole list of excuses. We wrap our boundaries in apologies, hoping to soften the blow. The fourth silent habit is to set firm, clear boundaries and then resist the urge to over-explain them. Manipulators absolutely love explanations. For them, your reasons aren't just information, they're ammunition. Every excuse you give is a new angle for them to attack, a new thread to pull, or a new lever to use for a guilt trip. So instead of saying, "Oh, I can't help you this weekend because I have to do laundry and I'm just so tired and I promised my cousin I'd call," just say, "I'm not available then." And then get comfortable with the silence that follows. This will feel weird at first. You might feel a little guilty or anxious. That's totally normal. It's just the feeling of a new muscle being built. A boundary isn't an attack. It's just a statement about what you can and can't do. When you state it calmly and refuse to get into a debate about it, you teach people that your limits are real and not up for negotiation. You're not being rude, you're just being clear. And to a manipulator, that clarity is like running into a brick wall. Manipulators love chaos and inconsistency. They will test your boundaries over and over, hoping to find a crack. They might be charming one day and critical the next, all in an effort to keep you guessing and off balance. The fifth silent habit that makes you dangerous is unwavering consistency. When your actions always line up with your stated values and boundaries, you become predictable in a good way. Predictable to yourself and unmovable to others. There's just no in for them to exploit. If you say you value your time, you're consistently on time and consistently unwilling to let others waste it. If you say you value honesty, you're consistently truthful and don't engage in gossip. If you've set a boundary, you enforce it every single time, not just when it's easy. This consistency builds a reputation that speaks for you. Manipulators are opportunists, always looking for the easiest target. When they learn that your no always means no, and that you can't be swayed by flattery or guilt, they'll get bored and move on to someone more cooperative. Your consistency silently shows them, through your actions, that you are not a game to be played. A manipulator's favorite place to hide is in a fog of vague statements and loaded accusations. They love to use phrases like, "You know, everyone thinks you're being difficult," or "Why do you always overreact?" Their goal is to make you feel defensive and alone. The sixth silent habit is to cut through that fog by demanding clarity with calm, targeted questions. This isn't an aggressive interrogation. It's a quiet habit of holding their words up to the light and quietly making them back up what they say. Here's how it works. When they say, "Everyone is upset with you," you calmly ask, "Who specifically?" When they say, "You're just so unsupportive," you ask, "Can you give me a specific example of when I was unsupportive?" These simple, fact-based questions do two amazing things. First, they totally derail the emotional attack. Manipulators don't have evidence because their claims are built on feelings, not facts. They're counting on you to argue with the emotion, not question the premise. Second, it forces them to be accountable for what they say. More often than not, they will backtrack, get defensive, or just drop it because their vague accusation has just been exposed as a hollow tactic. You haven't accused them of anything. You've simply asked for clarity, and in doing so, you've dismantled their entire game without a fight. The final and most freeing silent habit is to detach from external validation and learn to trust your own integrity. A huge amount of a manipulator's power comes from their ability to control your sense of self-worth. They'll put you on a pedestal with praise, then knock you down with criticism, making you addicted to their approval. When you detach from their opinion of you, and frankly everyone else's, you take away their most powerful weapon. It's all about focusing only on what you can actually control, your own actions and your own character. Whether someone calls you brilliant or an idiot is just noise. It's external to you. Your integrity, on the other hand, is all yours. This doesn't mean you become someone who doesn't care about other people. It just means your self-worth is no longer up for debate. You know your intentions, you know your truth, you trust your own judgment. When someone attacks you, you don't feel that desperate scramble to defend yourself, because their opinion is just that, an opinion. Your silence says, your opinion of me is not my reality. When you stop needing their applause, you stop fearing their boos, you become truly free. And to a person who needs to control others to feel powerful, there is nothing more dangerous than a person they can't control. These 7 habits, knowing yourself, choosing reason over reaction, using the pause, setting clean boundaries, being consistent, demanding clarity, and detaching from external validation, are the building blocks of a mental fortress. These aren't aggressive moves. They are quiet, internal practices of self-mastery. They're about turning your focus inward to build a core of calm, unshakable strength. So the choice is yours. You can continue to be vulnerable to the chaos manipulators create, constantly feeling reactive and drained. Or you can start the silent work of building these habits. It's a choice between being a leaf in their wind or a mountain they cannot move. Choose the mountain. If this video helped you, please give it a like and share it with someone who might need to hear this message. And for more content on building real mental and emotional strength, make sure you subscribe. Now, I'd love to hear from you. In the comments below, what's one manipulation tactic you've come across, and which of these habits are you going to start practicing today? Your story might be exactly what someone else needs to read to start reclaiming their own peace.